Hello, hello, and happy Monday. We are here for another Money Monday with Purse Strings. My name is Maggie Nielsen, and we're here every Monday to provide some financial tips and tricks to help you become financially fearless. Purse Strings is all about providing financial education for women, get those knowledge, get the wheels turning. And when you need a professional to put things in transition or transaction, we have top tier financial professionals willing, ready, and able to serve you. We have financial advisors, attorneys, lenders, all those good things to make your financial team. But we also have realtors, and we call all those professionals our Purse Strings approved professionals. Cindy Rubin is one of them. And so we are so excited to have you here today, Cindy.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited and nervous.
It should be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, you're one of the realtors in our group, which we're so excited to have because, of course, buying a house as a single woman, as a family, whatever, it's a huge, huge purchase, usually one of the largest purchases people make in their life. But just to get started, could you introduce yourself to the community and just let everyone know who you are?
Sure, my pleasure. Again, thanks for having me. I am Cindy Rubin. I work for Baird and Warner. I met through the Glenbrook office. I do sales all over. I will pretty much the North Shore area, but I also go out to Lake and McHenry County. I absolutely love matching buyers to a home or helping people sell their homes. I know that it could be really, it's a very challenging market right now. I would say complicated is the word I would use. Not necessarily crazy, I would say complicated. So I'm kind of hoping to help today with anybody who is looking to either buy or sell, to give you just a few tips that I have learned along the way that have really helped to sell quick, and then also try to help people who want to buy and are up against these crazy cash buyers and 20 offers per home and all of that. So
I'm excited to get into this because everything I've heard is like houses can't even make it on the market. They have sales so much, or somebody paid over $300,000 over the asking price.
Yeah.
Which was wild. And so the other person who's just going to put in $80,000 over was like almost laughable, even though it's still huge sums of money. So yes, the market is complex.
Yes.
So let's dive into some of these, hot tips and tricks to kind of understand the market today. So we're going to start with the sellers.
Yeah, let's start with sellers.
All right, cool.
If you want to sell your home, obviously it's a seller's market right now. Things are changing because the interest rates went up, and they're continuing to climb. So it's not what you think you have to, as you're selling. It's not right now where people are putting $50,000 and $80,000 over asking. That little ship has sailed. But there's still some competitive, it depends on what you're selling. So the tips that I want to share is that if you want to sell your home, I want you to first of all, find a really good caring agent, somebody that listens to you, somebody that appreciates the fact that this is your home. It's emotional. It's not just, hey, let's get rid of my house. And I want to get the best price. You definitely want to get the best price, but you have to remember that a lot of us are attached to our homes in a way that other people don't see it. So you have to kind of separate the emotional with the business. It's a really hard thing to do. And you want to price realistically. So you have to ask yourself, are you pricing to sell or are you pricing to test the market? So if I do have a client who was like, I want to test the market. I own this house. I'm not in a rush to sell it. And consequently, it stayed on the market for a while, and then we had to reduce his price. So you'll notice there's a lot of price reductions lately because of the change, the shift in the market. So if you have a house that you want to sell because you're buying another one, I would suggest pricing realistically and listen to the comps, listen to your agent. Try to help. They really want to get you the best price and a fair price,
We have to remember that the agent is on our side so that they can help us out. And one other thing I wanted to pop in there is, which we hear a lot, is make sure when you sign up to work with your agent, you're working with the agent, not their assistant, not somebody else, but you're actually working with their assistant. I mean, they're actually working with the agent that you hired and not their assistant.
Right.
Which is different.
It's different. There's certain, I believe like it depends on the company. So like, for example, I think if you sign up with Redfin, like you're not just getting one agent, you get whoever's available, it's just different. Mm-hmm. So definitely make sure you sign on with your agent and they're with you from beginning to end. They want to be there at the start and celebrate with you at the end. Also, it's really important for you to make repairs. Like some people ask all the time, should I redo my kitchen? Should I redo my bathroom? Honestly, you don't need to do that. If your house is a little dated, you want the price to reflect that. You don't want to price it super high if your neighbors have renovated for the same price. So if you can afford to paint, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive paint, but I promise you that if your house is clean and decluttered, you're going to get a lot more money than, so some people will just like, really, I don't need to, can I just leave it there? They can see through all this. No, they don't. No. So I have walked through houses with clients and we see these beautiful pictures and we walk in and the place is like, blah, and we just walk right out. So don't be deceiving. My tip, this is just from me. I feel like if you are doing kind of a bait and switch, it doesn't really work. There are people that will stage pictures. I feel like staging pictures is great if you have an empty house. You show the room empty and then you show it decorated as staged. But if you have like a completely cluttered home full of all kinds of furniture and you're staging it differently, when people walk in, they feel deceived. So they're not going to want to. The first thought on their mind is, I'm not paying that price, but when they walk into a clean, even if it's not fully updated, certainly very, very clean and decluttered, they're thinking, oh, okay. So
you got to help see the potential, see what's there, and picture yourself there as in your home,
Right. I just sold my neighbor's condo and they had all this stuff all over and I had her just use friends. I said, put all your stuff in my apartment. Just put it all in here, get rid of it, and they freshly painted and cleaned and, it sold in a day, which is amazing. Wow. So it's just got to be decluttered and lots of light. Also odor free. We walked into a home that smelled like dirty dog and we were so turned off that we walked out.
Yeah.
I feel like you can stage your outdoors to make it look appealing. I think if you got a potted plant and florals, and definitely get the professional photos. Your agent should pay for those.
Okay, that's a good tip to know.
Yeah, so your agent, a good agent would be paying for those for you, and they want them to be professional because they have the eye, and right. You can see the difference when you're looking at comps or if you're looking through homes and you see this little photo that's yellowy and
Definitely, yeah. Toilet seats down, counters clean.
Correct.
I've seen the photos that are professional and not, so professional photos. There Correct. We go.
And my last tip I would just say is to make sure for sellers that if you can depersonalize. Your home is your home and you love it, but people need to picture themselves there. So if you've got like a lot of religious things hanging up and that means a lot to you, it could mean a lot to somebody else, but it could be offensive to others. And you just don't want them to be offended in any way. You just want them to look at your home. That's all.
Right.
And pictures of you and your wedding and the whole wall of the family, that's your adorable family and you love them, but everybody else wants to picture artwork or something on the wall, So that's another tip.
Awesome. So for a lot of, work with the right agent, don't overdo the price. Just trying to scam people almost. Make some of those little repairs, declutter, make it presentable. People are coming into your house. We have to remember that. It's like when you're a kid, clean up before the guests come over.
Correct.
And get some professionals photo taken because, you're trying to get the max price. And so we have to make it look presentable.
Right. People are more willing to pay closer to your price if it's clean and decluttered. Honestly, they are.
It's amazing and that's a change in thousands of dollars. So
right.
It's worth it to clean it. I swear.
My neighbor just paid $75 to put a brand new laminate flooring in her kitchen because hers was dinged and scratched and gross. And it was $75. They put it in and, they got a great price for their unit. So it's worth it.
Awesome. So now if you sold the house and need to go buy one,
yes.
What are some tips that you have for us?
So obviously it is a seller's market and people are going crazy. So they're like offering all kinds of things. But because things are shifting a little bit, if you want a house that you fall in love with and you're thinking to yourself, this house is okay, keep looking. But if you love it and you're like, this is my house, I have to have this house, you want to act quickly because the good ones are going fast. The ones that are clean and uncluttered and sell, because somebody's coming to look at it because something attracted to them to it in the pictures. So if you love it, act quickly. And I would recommend that you put down a strong earnest money to show your good faith. If you can, that money goes towards goes towards the home anyway. It's just that it's showing good faith. And of course you could put like a smaller amount down first pre-inspection because you have to put earnest money down after 2 days. But if you put down like, $1,000 and then you're willing to put down $5,000, after inspection. Some people have been putting down like $10,000 earnest money right away. Like they're
you define for us what earnest money is?
Sure. It's like your good faith money. So what happens is you're saying to them, I'm very interested in your house. Here's my offer. So pre-inspection though. So you have to put some money down for earnest money to hold it. You can always cancel if you go through inspection and you don't like it. You get all that money, you get your money back. So let's say it's actually, you're putting post-inspection, you're still putting in more money. Let's say you put in another $5,000 and then you're getting the house appraised and it didn't appraise for the value and the client, and they won't go up, the seller won't come down in price and you don't have the cash to pay the additional, you could get your earnest money back.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yes. You can't just like go through the whole process and at the last minute get cold feet and say that. So what it does is you got to think about how the seller took it off the market. No one's looking at the house. And if you suddenly decide, no, this isn't for me, then they know you have good faith if you're going to put enough money down. But if
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to have a little leg in the game or
correct.
Whatever it is.
Answer that the way
a little skin in the game. Yep. Okay. Definitely makes sense.
Good. And so I would say if there's that you want to, if you love this house and you want to make a bid and you do your earnest money, you fill out your purchase agreement right away, your contract for your offer agreement. You also want to fill out the disclosure forms right away and have a pre-approval letter ready. Because if you want to move quickly and you have all those things in place, they'll take your offer right away and you want them to look at it before anybody else gets theirs in. So I would recommend that you just make sure you have all your ducks in a row and just submit it as soon as possible.
And so that pre-approval letter would be from your loan officer.
Correct. Your lender. Mm-hmm.
Your lender. And that's usually where you do want to start if you're purchasing a house, is not with a realtor, but with the lender, so you understand how much you do or don't have to spend.
Exactly. It's really important because you also don't want to start shopping for a house that you can't afford, you know? So it's like a waste of your time and a waste of the agent's time. And it's disappointing when you fall in love with a house that's, $500,000, but you can only afford 400,
Right.
So So also, I would say that if there happens to be a bidding war, you've been hearing about the bidding wars that have been going on in the housing market. It has slowed down a bit, but if it's a really good house, they're either paying cash. These cash offers I feel so bad for people that are getting loans, and they don't have the cash because they're outbid. Who wouldn't take cash instead of, and not deal with it? But if you cannot do cash, you could still make your offer appealing by having your pre-approval ready, and also be flexible. If you can be flexible, where if you don't have to be out at a certain date, a lot of sellers appreciate that. They need time to either look to buy something or time to pack and move out and all of that. If you put a large earnest money down, some sellers are like, oh, they really love this house and I won't have to worry if they back out. Some people are doing as is. They're saying, okay, I'm just going to take it as is. So I had somebody who wanted this one condo so badly. She just said, we're going to pay cash. We're going to do as is. We're going to, all of that. But it doesn't mean if you do as is, if there is like a material defect or a hazard, they have to fix it by law.
Okay.
So you can still get an inspection, even if you're taking it as is. I just wanted to share that. It doesn't mean, you can't go to them and just say, will you fix that door handle or will you change that light fixture? No, they're not going to do that for you.
Right.
But if it's like, asbestos or radon or, something that's like or lead-based paint, that kind of thing, they have to fix it.
That's good to know, because I can see, having some big thing come up and then being like, well, I bought it as is. But it's good to know that some of that's covered. Because who knows, they might have known about that and not shared it. You never know.
Right. Because in their disclosures, they're supposed to disclose if they know or not, but some of them don't. That's actually why when you pay for an inspection, the sellers don't want that's another thing actually for sellers. If you go through an inspection, don't ask for the inspection report. Some people want it, but you don't want it because if they disclose something, then ethically, you have to then divulge that you're aware of it. But if you're really not aware, you don't know, you can check the box that says, I'm not aware.
Interesting.
Yes. So, and then, there's this huge thing going on. A couple things I just wanted to share that I've heard a lot about, to beware of escalation clauses. So that's been a big buzzword lately, the escalation clause. People will be like, well, I'm going to give $1,000 over the top bid. So there are now sellers who are saying, don't even bother with an escalation clause. If they can go up to a certain amount, let them offer that amount. Like, I'm not playing a game with you. Mm-hmm. So some people feel like, well, just $1,000 over the top bid just so I can get the house. And it's been making sellers angry. So now some people do it and it might work for them, but I've been hearing a lot of negative. And the other negative I've been hearing is about the love letters. So a lot of people, it was always like, oh, write a love letter, tell them how much you love it, and raise your kids in your backyard and all of that. And I can picture myself gardening there, all of that type of thing. So what they're finding, though, is there's some states that are starting to ban that because it actually isn't ethically fair housing. So they're breaking like a fair housing.
Interesting.
In a way. Like, because if you're turning people away that may offer you a fair price, but because you liked that they liked your neighborhood and they loved your garden, you're really just kind of a discrimination. So that you have to be careful.
Interesting, because I would think it's like my property, so I could sell it to whomever I may.
Can. You can. You just have to be really, really careful about what you're choosing and why, because somebody could come at you and say that it's not fair. You're violating fair housing rules. So
interesting. That's a great one to know for sure.
Do
you have any more for the buyers?
I think that I kind of covered what I wanted to cover.
Yeah, so those are all great tips, and you really need both sides. Because I hear about everyone selling, and then I'm like, well, everyone has to be going somewhere.
Right.
So I guess that means they're buying, or do you find that most people are then renting?
You know what? The inventory has been growing. So that's great. There's a lot more options, which is why it's a good time for buyers too. You know, that there is more available and they don't have to exceed their limit just to buy a house they want. So it's getting better. It really is starting to even out a little bit. More inventory coming. But you're right. Some people will choose to just sell their home and then they might rent until their perfect house comes along. Two of my people have done lease backs. So like they will sell their home. They haven't bought their home yet. So they're going to rent back from the owner until they can get out.
And that's a great, again, flexibility is key. But I know buying houses is always like a domino effect. You know, I got to sell mine before I buy and you have to sell before you buy. And so it's always kind of this staggering thing.
Yeah, it's a big puzzle. You got to make all the pieces fit.
And no one can be a night without a home. I mean, it's hard. It's a lot going on.
Right.
Well, this has been a ton of great tips. So I appreciate you, Cindy, coming on here and sharing some of those. If you love it, act right away. Put down a strong offer, be flexible, and sometimes don't know about the inspection, I think is also a funny one, but also, the love letters aren't always working. And so it's interesting about the discrimination for sure. That's a new one to learn. Yeah. And so what's the best way for people to reach out to you if they have any more questions or want to work with you?
They can reach me I can give my email address, or you can reach me at Cindy.Rubin at bairdwarner.com.
Awesome.
Thank you. And feel free. I am a Purse Strings professional, so you can find my information on Purse Strings, which is an amazing networking organization. You can also find me on LinkedIn. You can find me. Feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions or help in any way.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yes, I usually take the Purse Strings line, but you got it this time, so I appreciate that. No worries. I love it. Yeah, check out our Purse Strings website. Check Cindy out there.
Thanks.
But I think there's been some great tips. We know the housing market's been a little wild, so if you're buying or selling, this has been super helpful. So thank you, Cindy, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their Monday, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you, Maggie.
All right. Bye-bye.